take one piece of content and then think, how can I use it on socials? How can I use it in a newsletter? How can I use it for a YouTube video? How can I use it on my sales page? How can I use it for a blog? I can literally give that list to Chat GPT, and as long as I've given it the right inputs, it'll go bang Facebook, bang this, bang that, copy and paste everything.
Hello, my loves, and welcome to Create Your Life. My name is Simone Leah, and I am your host. And I am so excited to be with you guys here today because today I had the absolute pleasure of interviewing Venessa Minkley of the 369 Collective. Now, Venessa is all about women's empowerment and helping business owners to streamline their processes. So our conversation today was phenomenal because it was all about how you can use Chat GPT and AI to give yourself back 10 to 15 hours a week. So this conversation was mind-blowing, especially if you haven't really spent much time thinking about or looking into the use of AI for your business. So I hope you guys grab a pen and paper because we're going to be talking about all of the different applications that you can use ChatGPT and AI for in your business. We're going to be talking about how you can get started and even just going into some of the finer points of what some of those processes you can create can actually look like. So this is an interview not to be missed, and I really hope you guys enjoy it. Hello and welcome to Create Your Life. My name is Simone Leah and I am your host, and today I'm super excited to have Venessa Minkley with me from 369 Collective, and she's here today to talk about ChatGPT and AI in business. Hello Vanessa, how are you today?
I'm good, Simone. How are you?
Good. For everyone listening, this is our second run at this. We had a slight tech issue, so I'm so excited that Venessa has agreed to come back and talk to us again because there was so much value in the interview the first time that I was like, I can't have you guys miss this. She's phenomenal. So I am super excited to dive in. But as usual, I do want to start with the question of what does creating a life you love mean to you or look like to you, Venessa?
Look, I think one of the big things for me is the satisfaction I get from particularly women in business. Going from, overwhelmed, confused, stuck to being inspired and confident and really getting out there and putting things that I've taught them into practice and actually seeing them succeed. That's one of the big ones for me. The other one, of course, is to have the ability to travel. I was quite lucky last year, and I traveled to the South Island for 5 months, house sitting with my little dog. And so that's something I wouldn't have got an opportunity to do. As a single mom since 2006, I haven't had that opportunity. So, that's one of the other main reasons. And then, yes, of course, to not have someone tell me what to do all the time. I actually don't function well in that environment. I'm very self-motivated and self-driven, and I don't really need someone pushing me. That doesn't mean I don't need someone keeping me accountable, but yeah, so it gives me the flexibility to also, if I feel like I need to change things around or change my offerings, I can do that. I can have that flexibility. Where in a corporate role, it's not that easy to do, right?
Mm-hmm. I love all of that, and just touching on the changing things around and the traveling. And I think that it feels a lot like a lot of people, if they're not entrepreneurs or sometimes even entrepreneurs, we're living for the work. But with you traveling for 5 months, it's like you're working and you're living, And even the fact that you can change things around, it's like you're creating something that is fitting for you so that your life is what's actually happening. It's not like you're just turning up and doing the thing and then going home and, watching Netflix and that's it. You're actually living, which I think is so beautiful. And that's really what creating a life you love is all about.
Absolutely. I mean, I got to skydive, I did paragliding, I did jet boating, I did parasailing, I did all these cool things, so bucket list things. But I wouldn't have had that opportunity in a corporate job to have 5 months off.
No.
So, yeah, that's a big one. It's a big one.
I literally love that. I love that. And I'm even probably going to be like, okay, so how did AI help you with that? But let's just start by giving people an overview of what we can do with ChatGPT and AI. Like what can the entrepreneurs do with those platforms?
Well, I mean, if you think about entrepreneurs, because I've just launched a course recently because there's this big need for people who they feel that they need either the extra income or they're really unhappy in their corporate roles and they want to have the flexibility. They've got young families and they just don't quite know how to balance it all. And so I've created a course around that. But literally, I could actually give them a set of tools or AI prompts, which is basically something you put into AI so it's the input to get the output, and they could research the market so they come up with an idea, or even if they don't have ideas, let Chat GPT tell them where the niches are, where the gaps in the market are. And then they can come up with a topic. And once they've come up with that topic, they can then actually research just that topic. They then can come up with marketing materials for their website, for a sales page, for social media marketing. I mean, just yesterday, I put in Chat GPT. I had a post from the previous day sitting there, and I said, "Hey, please I want to follow up Facebook post, and I want to follow up email." So it starts Facebook post, boom, email, boom, and it's literally it's the whole structure. And so you just go in and change a few words, get rid of a few emojis, and you've pretty much got your script. Normally to write an email from scratch, social media post from scratch, it won't take 2 minutes, right? That literally took me 2 minutes.
Yeah.
And then of course, you can have the AI plugin. So when you actually go to open AI, I think it's open.ai, Chat GPT comes up, but then there's Chat GPT, DALI, and then there's API. So Chat GPT is for text generated, AI generated, and then DALI, you have to have credit, so you have to have a billing, but can create your image. So I could actually create my image, and then I could create the post as well in one application. People are using Claude, people are using Monica. There's a lot of different ones out there, and I guess what a lot of people are finding is that certain ones suit their voice better. So some people feel like Claude suits their voice better. But I'm like, my background's very strong in sales. So ChatGPT works for me quite fine, but there's a bunch of others. You just need to do a Google search
Yeah.
and go AI for voice training, because you can actually train. There's certain apps that you can train your voice.
Yeah.
So you could actually teach it your voice. So you could literally create a video, um, and it could be animated or it could be whatever, but it could have your voiceover. Um, and it takes a little bit of doing, but you can teach AI your voice. It's a little scary though when it comes to security, voice recognition, and things like that. But yeah, certainly the technology's there, and like I said to you, it can, for instance, it could break up say you've got terms and conditions from the lawyer and you're like, oh, I can't read all those pages. You can literally scan it through, put it into Chat GPT, and it'll summarize the main points for you. Um, it can write you an ebook. If you give it enough input, it can write you an ebook. So yeah. And so when it was first launched, it had information up to date to 2021, but us humans have been teaching it a lot of things, and so every time we teach it something, it can fact check. That's just how the technology works in the back end. And so what I've taught it will benefit somebody else. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love all of this, and there's so many little like sub things that I want to do to even bring up because like even you're saying with like firstly the voice recognition. If you have a YouTube channel, you've already got so much content with your voice on it that it would be so easy just to like plug in all of that and train it. But as you said, that's also incredibly scary to think that something is going to learn your voice and be able to speak for you. Like it's wow, this is a little bit crazy, but at the same time, it's so incredibly cool. And then the
Well,
other thing,
yeah.
no, no, you go, you go.
Well, you can create an avatar of yourself with your voice, and
Mm.
you can have this whole series of videos that you weren't even present, you know.
Yeah.
And it'll have the animation, the smiling, the hand gestures. It mimics all those things. So it's quite clever. Um, and look, the text generation, that doesn't really cost a lot of money. And when you use it as an API in another application, it's like pennies, it's cents. The area that costs is around images. A lot of it's still in euros. So for us in New Zealand, it's a bit expensive, you know. So, but yeah, you know, it's certainly it's very interesting.
It's that to me is so interesting because even imagine even if you had a faceless YouTube channel, you know,
Oh, absolutely.
if you're someone who puts out like trying to think of something that's faceless, but you know, like some sort of faceless YouTube channel where you just have animations. And then now all you have to do is train it in your voice and feed it your scripts. You don't even have to speak them. You know, like that's
Well,
just
you can teach it your gestures as well. So
mm,
it'll learn from another video your hand gestures and how you smile and you know how you move your body and just your body language. So it's clever what it can do. But you know, I mean, you can take one piece of that's why I often say to people, even in my masterclass today, take one piece of content and then think, how can I use it on socials? How can I use it in a newsletter? How can I use it for a YouTube video? How can I use it on my sales page? How can I use it for a blog? I can literally give that list to Chat GPT, and it'll, if as long as I've given it the right inputs, it'll go bang Facebook, bang this, bang that, copy and paste everything.
so you can literally like so say for example I'm someone who has a YouTube channel or something like that and I've done a 20-minute video. I can literally enter that 20-minute video and it'll spit out all of the little things that I can oh that is amazing in one go. Like that's
Absolutely. And so in one day, you could put out 10 pieces of content
mm.
and you started with just one piece of content.
Yep. And this is the dream. Like this is everyone's like repurpose your content. And you know, that's, you know, it's good in theory, but then you're sitting there going, all right, I've got to spend a whole afternoon repurposing that content. And now you've got AI that's doing it for you in a matter of minutes. Like,
Well, it's also good from a branding perspective because if someone was on your Facebook page, like they're checking you out, they've looked at your Facebook profile, then they see a link to your YouTube. Oh, it's kind of the same look, feel, function. So from
mhm.
a branding perspective, it's really good because it carries the theme over and it reinforces. You know, it's kind of like when you're in retail. I've worked in retail before. When you're doing a promotion, you need a window display, you need you know, a gondola end, you need a whole story or journey going through it from a branding perspective.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, I mean that just strengthens the brand, strengthens the brand, strengthens the brand, and so you become more recognizable
Mm.
through that. And so if someone kind of missed something here, then they'll get it some. Say, for instance, someone's a audio visual learner, then the video is going to appeal to them. Like for me, video, I'd rather read something, right? That's just
Yeah.
me. But other people rather watch a video.
Yeah. I'm exactly
So
the
if you,
same actually. My mentor, he loves video and I'm always like, give me like I can read it faster than they'll speak it, you know? Like and I'm exactly the same. And he's one of my mentors, you know. We vibe off each other, we talk to each other, but such completely different learning styles. So
yeah,
having the same content in those different forms, it does make it easier.
Well, it does, absolutely. So if you're wanting to appeal to a broad, so you can have similar niche, similar audience, but they've generally all got different ways they like to learn, right?
Mm.
Some people like to just listen to audio in the ear, others like to watch video. If you've got the same theme going through for, say, 3 days, you're going to get the message across in the way that they like to learn.
Yeah.
Um, and so that just strengthens your brand voice.
Yeah. I'd love to know as well, just on this is probably a little bit more of a technical question. If you are putting video in to get chopped into little reels and little 1 minute clips, is it keeping the uniform look of how you want it? Are you entering in some sort of template, and then does it have the captions in there? And like, how technical can you get on what it's doing?
Depending on the app that you use, I mean, there's lots, there's dozens of the video ones. They're quite specific. So there's specific ones for images. Chat GPT does both. It does images, but not quite as good as the dedicated images one. And then, of course, you get dedicated video ones. I can give you a list, sort of my top three for each sort of category. But once again, it's dependent on the inputs.
Mm,
So if you've got the SRT files, which is actually if you, for instance, load up a video to Facebook, yeah, Facebook automatic, if you don't have captions, Facebook will rip the voice off in an SRT file and it'll actually put captions on for you.
yeah.
So if you've already got captions, you actually have to let it load, go and edit and delete that SRT. Otherwise, you've got text over text.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, so it usually requires you to, I don't know if you know, when you record with Zoom, it records three different, if you use all three of those in Chat GPT, it's not Chat GPT, I'm trying to think which one that is. I'll send you a list to put with the video. You put all three of those in, that's perfect. So it's got all the files that it needs to assess and to stitch things together.
Mm.
And so you said, please break this hour up into 21-minute videos or whatever, because there'll be a lot of and and stuff that it'll ignore.
Yeah.
So I'm like famous for saying So
Yeah.
whenever I go in and do my captions, I'm always taking all the ums out.
Yes. Yes. I'm exactly the same,
I'm
especially.
an thinker.
I think it just happens. We just say it. We don't mean to, but it just comes out. And you don't even notice. Like, I know one
Yeah.
time that I was tired and I recorded two videos, and every second word in both of those videos was, you know, and I was like, what was I doing? Like, why this is not even something I say. Like, what's going on? So I don't even think we notice half the time. But see, this is phenomenal. Like, this is so good to know that we can get to this level now without having to use. Now I'm going on to a whole nother tangent to VAs, but without having to use VAs, do you still think that they're, and I still want to talk about other stuff. Oh my God, there's so many cool things to talk about with this. Do you still think there's a place for VAs, or do you think that the AI is taking a lot of work out of what you can give? Like,
I think that AI will take away the very repetitive tasks. So, for instance, if you program the AI and said, please go into my Gmail, now Gmail already does this, but everything I haven't opened for the last 60 days, unsubscribe me. And it'll go in and do that. You probably wouldn't ask a VA to do that, but a VA would open emails and decide the importance and assign it in your CRM as a follow-up, or this person wants a quote, or that person wants a meeting, or this person wants to have a chat. And so I think that kind of thing the AI can do, but I think that level of personal touch is probably still needed there. The
yeah.
sort of human interpretation, because you've got one human telling another human what their audience wants from them. So, I just think VAs will become more effective.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah. They'll just become more effective. Look, there are jobs with that AI is going to take, but AI is also going to, it's already made jobs. So there's
Yeah.
new jobs now, so all these people developing the AI software, these
Yeah.
are all new roles.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing, because I remember AIs, I used to get AIs to do research for me.
Yeah.
That's gone now. You can Chat GPT will do that faster. But there is still stuff that it's nice to have your VA doing all the, like as you said, all the personal things, the things that, or even quality control, some of the checks that can be done by the VA. So yeah, I do agree that there's still room there, but yeah, I think you're right. That'll just make them a lot more effective in terms of what they're doing. And I think that's also good because it'll increase their knowledge as well, like not knowledge, but their enjoyment, their satisfaction, because they're doing stuff that's probably a bit more at their level. Like, data entry can be quite boring or, for everyone. So by taking that out and giving them something that is more in alignment with what they enjoy and what the business is doing, it's probably going to help everyone grow and help that culture in the business anyway. So I love
Well,
that.
if you've got written, like handwritten stuff, you could just use an OCR um, technology, which basically will read it, and then it will plug it into AI, and AI will just spit out the output. Because you can say to AI, please remove all the ums, or please remove all the whatever. Please swap out masterclass for one-on-one program or one-on-one mentorship, and it will just in seconds it swaps it out. Um, and that's a whole lot easier than typing it out yourself.
Yeah.
So, and I mean, the thing is, people don't realize they've been talking to Alexa for how long now, right? It's
Mm.
AI.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it is. You're talking to a machine, and you're telling a machine to remember things or look up something or do something. And if it's connected within the network, it can actually do it.
Yeah.
You know, start the washing machine, or whatever you want it to do.
Yep.
Um, so AI has been around us. We couldn't influence the input. Now we can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I love that. And I've loved the transition for my GPS because she's gone from being not so useful to overly chatty to less chatty. So, I think even when we think about it like that, we have seen the evolution of
Mm.
of AI over the years. We just haven't necessarily, realized and then had access to it. So, but I would love to even ask, because we were talking about inputting and the data kind of work that it can do. How does it go about? You've said that we can use it to help us to do the market research on the programs we want to put out.
Well, basically, it feeds into its own database, and what databases are available to it. So there's a whole lot of databases that feed into Chat GPT, and it's been trained, with news events and things like that up until 2021. So like, you know, unless somebody else is now taught it something else from 2021, it probably won't know. And so if it comes to sort of statistics or historical events or natural disasters that happened after 2021, you probably have to fact check it. But when it comes to just generally researching midwifery or um, yoga teacher, I want to teach a yoga class, but I want to focus on energy work. Yeah, I mean that's been around since day dot. So it can definitely do that. you
Yeah.
know you can say, I want a different angle, based on everything that's out there. I want an entirely different angle. What is missing in the data right now? And it can tell you. So a lot of people are using Chat GPT now instead of Google,
Yeah.
because it's more accurate, and it's devoid of ads. There's no ads.
Yeah.
So when you go in a Google search, it's very, the first half page is heavily influenced by advertising.
Yeah.
And so because people want instant gratification for everything today, they're just clicking on the little, so they, when you do a Google search and you get those little drop downs, those little mini shops, it's
Yep.
all paid for. That's all paid for.
Yeah.
So if you want to get real organic results, you've got to go to the bottom half of the first page.
Yeah. It's crazy. So if
Mm.
I was a business owner and say I wanted to put together an online course, what parts of the process can ChatGPT do for me?
The whole process.
See, it's crazy. So it can
People
go
are,
from the
yeah,
research.
absolutely. It'll do the market research, it'll do the topic research, it'll write out your presentations, your modules, your assessments, the whole thing. It'll do the whole thing. And then you just go to a course platform, like Go High Level, and you just input the data.
Yeah.
You know, you can even say, oh, I've got to have thumbnails at this size. um, and you can figure that out as well. So it's all about the application that you're using. So you've got to use the right AI application for the kind of output that you want. So if it's video, you need to use a video platform. But Chat GPT on its own is content, and DALI is within OpenAI. So you go to OpenAI, that's your image generators. I see
It's
a lot
just
of sort of fantasy type, ethereal. So a lot of people and sort of your light workers are using those imagery. Well, they should be using it a bit more because it's very good at that. But
yeah.
if you tell it to look up something, if you tell it to generate a lead magnet, well, not so good. Not so good. You know what I mean? Because it's almost art versus just an image.
Yeah, which is
Yeah.
so beautiful, and it's a whole nother rabbit hole we could go into quite easily. But how about like if you were to get it to write you a course and do all the copy and do, your marketing for all of that sort of stuff, how much of that would you need to go through and re-edit? Is it, 50% or say 5%, just little tweaks, read through it, check it all out? Like, is there a lot of after editing?
I guess if the database is quite rich, probably looking at 15 to 20%. If the database isn't rich with the information, then you actually got to input a lot more info, probably around not more than 30% usually.
So you're saving 70% of the work.
Absolutely.
That's amazing. Like,
And you can, for instance, if it's too long, you can say, please reduce by 50%, and it will. So it'll still convey the message, but just concisely.
mm,
Or you say, uh, I want a more emotional tone, I want a more convincing tone, I want a more empathetic tone, and it knows, and it'll just go in and change it.
it's amazing.
So you
And I
can
have,
start at the beginning of the week with a theme, right? I want to teach people about whatever this week, right? And it'll write you your intro, your second post, your follow-up post, your reminder post. It wrote me all my masterclass reminders.
it's amazing. That is
Mm.
amazing. I literally like, yeah, there's so many applications. So if you were new to ChatGPT, say you've never used it before, and you're a little bit daunted because you're like, oh my gosh, okay, so this thing's going to write this for me, it's going to write this for me, it's going to edit my video. Oh my gosh, I can get images. Like, is it daunting to get started on, or is it actually easier than people think it's going to be?
Well, no one's watching and no one cares what you do. So, it's like trying to figure out a new gadget. It's no different. You've just got a new phone and now you're setting it up and it's all fun, and it's really, I just say that, for instance, if you need to edit a document or you've written something and you want a different perspective on it, just put it in and you'll start to get a sense of what it can do. So
Mm.
you'd basically go, please rewrite this concisely in an emotive tone, and you put it in quote marks, and then so you paste that in, and then you go generate, and it'll spit it out, and then you go, no, I need it shorter than that, and then you tell it, please shorten it by 25%, shortens it. Please change it, the sentence structure. I want to emphasize this, and then it'll do it. And so you'll quickly learn the capabilities of it. You can learn it in the day, you really can. And if someone gives you some good prompts, you'll learn very quickly how to write your own prompts very
Yeah,
quickly.
yeah. Yeah, so if you can kind of skip that learning hurdle, like by getting access to prompts, as you've said, it'll
Just like
give.
that one I sent you for sales pages. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, it's amazing. Like it just takes like a lot of the like I think stress out of it. Because when you do, because I don't know if everybody's heard about this, but I have looked into using it for images before and I've had a bit of a play with it. You need to be so on point with what you actually want to get the result you want. And so getting that access to what actually works for someone else to start with the prompts really helps you because then it is a lot easier to go, oh, this is what I needed. This is how much I need. So having access to that is literally phenomenal. Like
Oh,
it,
if you Google prompt engineering, the people are, obviously because it's now a new thing, and so there's about 1 million lead magnets out there. You can access heaps for free out there at the moment.
yeah. So that's amazing. It's
Mm.
just, yeah. And
People have
so,
started whole businesses just on AI, whole businesses.
yeah.
It's crazy.
Well, I mean, we did hear the stories of people who even wrote into AI, make me a $10 million business or whatever, and it even did that. So, like, there has been, I mean, that's probably not accurate, but, there has been people just finding these fun, creative applications for it and just playing with it and just running with it and seeing what happens. So, I feel like a lot of it is just whatever you can sort of start to imagine, see if you can get it to do it. Like,
I think the best thing is to sort of look at what is your strategy, right? And then see what part of the strategy you can let Chat GPT or AI do the heavy lifting, yeah?
mm,
So, because sometimes you see, I've often someone writes a post or blog or an email or whatever, and I go, that's exactly what I want to say. But of course, you don't want to go, that's their voice. And then now that I've been working with, so basically when you're in Chat GPT, it saves all your chats, yeah, on the left. And you can go back to certain, and it actually titles them. So it titles your chats. Um, it just figures out a title, and then you know what it is. And so you can go back to a chat from a week ago, and you can pick up where you left off with a theme. So if you take strategy and you combine ChatGPT with strategy, that's probably the best way to do it. If
wow.
you're just using ChatGPT to wing it, it's going to save you time, but it's not going to work so well because there's no strategy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. So it's kind of just coming from the place of knowing your existing business strategy and using Chat GPT to kind of plug in and help with that, which I think is
Oh,
just,
absolutely. Because I mean, you can publish a blog, you can send out a email, you can do a social media post, you can update your sales page, you can write a series of emails. You can do that in a few hours,
yeah. See, that's
where
amazing.
before it took days.
Yeah. Yep.
You
That's
know,
so true.
and you had to be in flow, and you had to wait for inspiration to. And then when you see the AI do it, you actually get quite excited. You're like, oh wow, right, I'm on a roll. Okay, next thing, you know. And
And it helps
so
you get in the flow.
it does, because it writes in a perspective different to you, perhaps the mindset that you were in.
Yeah.
Sometimes you're just like, oh, I don't know how I'm gonna like. I know what I want to say, but I don't quite know how to say it. you
Mm.
know. Then you just tell it, this is the person I'm talking to. What is the best way to say this to this person?
Yeah.
And it gives you ideas. If you're not happy, you go regenerate it, tries again.
Wow. It's just
Mm.
phenomenal. Like it's just so, so powerful. So if someone wanted to get started with ChatGPT and AI, what are three tips you'd give them to be able to use it in their business?
Um, I think the easiest thing is to go just create an account on OpenAI, which is ChatGPT, and just start have a look at all your resources and perhaps areas you haven't visited for a while. Like people always forget to update their websites, right? And it's an evolving tool. So while you're evolving as a human being, you forget that your website is meant to reflect that. So go to sections of your website and copy sections that you want to update and put that into ChatGPT and tell it what you wanted to say or who you wanted to appeal to. You can even tell it if if you want a CTA in there or whatever. Um, and just experiment with it. The easiest way is to experiment. Look at things other people have written and see how ChatGPT can write it differently.
Yeah.
Think of things that you haven't launched or things that content you still want to put out and see if you can start early developing that,
Yeah.
because then you can batch schedule it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that like if you've got your whole month's posts scheduled, that's a lot of worry or stress off your plate, right?
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of people just each day like, oh, what am I going to post? What am I going to post? And we're all guilty of it, all of us. So if anybody tells me they've never done that, they're lying.
Yes, I
You know
agree.
what I mean? They're definitely lying because sometimes you have time and sometimes you just don't have time.
Yeah.
Honestly, the best thing is just to experiment with it. If there's a bunch of reading you need to do and you're just like, oh, I just don't have time. Put it into Chat GPT, tell it to summarize it for you. Tell it that you want to know the main points. It'll summarize it for you. And then at least you go, okay, well that's ticked off. It's
Yeah.
not going to take me 2 hours to read. It took me 5 minutes. I know the main points and I'm good.
Even that, like, is there a good I don't know if it's called an application or something like that, where you can enter in your podcast or your YouTube show and get it to do the dot points for you and the timestamps? Is there apps that you can use to do that even?
Yeah, there is. Yeah.
See, so
So
that right there is taking time out of having a team and getting things done, like it's
so AI is all about using, and honestly, it's like everything else. It's using the right application for the job. Do you know what I mean? Like it's no different to using marketing software, to using website software, email marketing software. Use the right tool for the right application that suits the way you like to work. So that's why I say you need to experiment. Like if you don't, if Chat GPT seems a little impersonal, try Claude, try Monica, try one of those. You
yeah,
know, there's loads of image ones, and some people love this one, and other people love that one. It's
yeah,
it's it's a bit of a personal preference thing, really.
yeah,
Some do just work better than others. That's just how it is. There's sort of the Microsoft version, and then there's the guy in his garage version. So there's those two sort of differences.
yeah,
So one's got a lot of money behind it, and the other one really doesn't. So, but a lot of these smaller operators have started businesses around it, saying, "Well, ChatGPT can't do this, but ours can," and there's a little bit of that carry on going out there. But I don't think that kind of thing is going to last.
yeah.
I think it's quick money, get people interested, and honestly, a year from now, no one will be talking about it.
Yeah.
It'll just be one of those things. It's not going to be interesting anymore. People are tired of it. But you'd be surprised how many people still haven't even had a look.
Yeah. Yeah. I haven't had the greatest look, but even I was like, I need to see what's going on. And like with all of these like little things like making the images or what it can do. And even I'm blown away. Like I'm just like the applications are insane. So yeah, for people who haven't even had a look at it at all, it's like we've got to get on this. Like this needs to be a thing. We got to build this into our workflow because it's just going
Well,
to save us as entrepreneurs so
imagine
much
if,
time.
yeah, imagine if all your competitors are using it. They're going to be
Hmm.
far more productive than you are, right?
Hmm.
So you're going to be left behind.
Yep.
So it's not about, I had the odd client who's like, oh, I'm resisting AI. I said, well, no, you can't even get away from AI in Gmail. Like,
Yeah.
you just can't get away from it. So at some point, you're going to have to just say, all right, well, it's like anything, any evolution,
Yeah.
that people, there's always going to be people that kick up against it. But ultimately, if you work in the online industry, if you've got an online business and you're ignoring AI, well, then you're just a sucker for doing things the hard way.
Yes, I think that's what it really is. It's really helping with time efficiency and your ease of workflow, you know,
Mm.
just making everything run smoother and easier and giving you back that time. And if we are an online business, we probably want our time.
Oh,
You
absolutely.
know?
But not only that, it's like a human being we've got a bias about things based on our past, based on recent experiences. ChatGPT it's got nothing. There's no emotion there. It talks about empathy and all this stuff, but it's all stuff that it's learned. It's
Yeah.
learned how humans have spoken about things historically, and so it's taken a lot of that language.
Mm.
Um, but it's got none of those biases and preconceived ideas or judgments and so sometimes it's just honestly just what you need. It's like, oh, why didn't I think of writing it that way?
Yeah.
Sometimes it completely flips what you write.
Yeah.
Um, it almost, sometimes when I put the input in, I'm like, that's not what I wrote, but it's actually taken the end and put it in the beginning.
Yeah.
And
See,
you
that's
think,
amazing.
actually, that does work. So, and you can just regenerate. And like I said, you can say, if it's too long, tell it to make it shorter. If it's too short, tell it to make it longer. If it's too advertising or salesy, tell it to make it less salesy. You could just keep going, and over a period of like 5 minutes, you probably get to where you need to be,
Yeah.
you know.
See, that's a phenomenal
Im-
saving of time.
Images take longer to render, particularly the free ones, because you go into a queue, yeah, and it'll say you number 146. So now you wait. It has to generate 146 images for other people first before it gets to you. So you literally do that, and then you go away and do some other work, and you wait for it to generate. But the ones you pay for, those are more instant.
It's
Yeah. So
crazy.
the free ones, you're still having to wait.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This all sounds amazing. Like it's so, 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 so interesting. And I've really, really loved this chat. Like it's been phenomenal. Do you have any references? Resources? Do you have any resources or anything like that that you would recommend to people who are getting started with this?
Well, absolutely. I've actually got over 1,000 prompts in one Excel spreadsheet document. And if you run any kind of virtual event, or you're thinking of running a virtual event, or you right at the beginning and you want to run a virtual event, but you have absolutely no idea what market, what topic, you just know that you want to deliver information to your audience based on your experience, and you want to know how to match that to actual tangibles. You can use this from start to finish, including follow-up. So this includes writing your sales page, getting your sales page launched, writing your email sequences, writing the promotions to actually promote the event, to writing the follow-up emails, um, the whole email sequence campaign, We've even in Go High Level now, we've even got AI. We can actually say, right, here's my funnel, here's my email sequence. Tell me the best way, the best workflow to use. And
Yeah.
it'll actually design the workflow for you now. Where
That's
before
amazing.
you had to do that manually.
So-
So it's crazy. It'll say, oh, okay, so, and that's what you can actually start working out when people are going to fall out of funnels. So like if you've got a freebie, you will get a lot of freebie people that will only ever want the freebie, right? But
Mm.
as soon as you start talking about money, they'll fall out.
Yeah.
So and you want that. You want to repel those you don't want to work with, you know. So um yeah, no, it's some of this stuff is just, you know, like even me in the beginning, I'm like, oh my God, look what it can do. You
Yeah.
know, so, the best thing is honestly just have fun with it, have it, play around with it.
Yeah.
Don't take it too seriously. No one's watching you, no one's recording it, no one cares what you do with it. It's, you know, it's just machine learning. It's
Mm.
a machine trying to be a human being. That's what
Yeah.
it is,
But
you
I
know.
honestly even feel like that's great life advice, you know? We're in business to create lives we love. You know, have fun with it, I think is the message of the day. Like, you know, try not to take everything so seriously. Yes, it's your business. Yes, it's your baby, but have fun with it. Have fun with the AI. Have fun with the marketing. Have fun with the business. Like, just in general, like, just relax. Because as you said, no one cares. You spend 5 hours on a post and you get so stressed out about it, and in 2 days no one's even looking at it, you know? Have fun with
Nobody
it.
cares.
Yeah.
People think people care more than they do. They don't actually care.
Mm.
You know, I
Yep.
mean, we've all got our own lives, we've got our own stuff going on. We
Yep.
don't have time to take other people's stuff on board. You
Yep.
know, if we happen to come across it and oh, you know, something bad happened or whatever, and we know the person, we're gonna obviously offer some support, but you know, we may not even see it.
No.
So like yesterday, I didn't see the post about my dog that went missing, you know.
Yep.
So I'm part of that group. It,
Yeah.
there was no notification, so I had no idea. So it's up to Facebook to show us, you
Yep.
know, and if it doesn't, it doesn't.
Yep.
And so you can't take it personally. Oh, no one loves me. No one said liked my post. It's not even that. It's just you don't even know who saw it. And
Yeah.
that's
That's
why it's a really good idea to make sure that your audience is one engaged. So you need to go in regularly and take out unengaged and inactive accounts. There's a
mm.
lot of bot accounts, and you won't know necessarily if it's a bot account.
Yep.
It'll mimic someone else's account, and so it looks legit, but actually it was only set up 2-3 months ago. It's a bot account.
Wow. I love
You
that it
need to
has that ability.
Yeah, so there's a Chrome extension tool that you can use called Prospect Remover,
Yeah.
and it'll automatically go through the list. People that never engaged, delete.
Yeah.
So it'll just delete them out of your list. Some
Wow.
people make really good money with a group of 300 people, but they're all very engaged.
Yeah. Yeah, well that's what
That's
it is. It's down to your audience, not the size. It's down to how much they're into you and following you and wanting to work with you. So,
Absolutely. So, I mean, I was very much in the beginning, oh yeah, I got 4,800 followers and all this, and it's just vanity, you know, it's just vanity metrics. It looks good,
yeah.
but does it translate into dollars for your business? No.
Mm.
Well, then it means nothing.
Yep.
So, yeah, and I mean that's once again that's really using an automated tool. You know, it's going in and it's working things out. It's like the CRM for Messenger. So I've got a tool that's a CRM for Messenger. Once again, it's using artificial intelligence to work all this stuff out, and software programs. And no human is doing anything. It's just kind of going in there. And then I've got one called Client Prospector. So you can go into groups. Say, for instance, you deal with women in business. You go into a group of women in business, 72,000 in the group or whatever. You tell it, I want to target women of this age. I don't want any people in marketing. I don't want any people in this. I only want these people. It'll go in and friend them on your behalf.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you don't get
And
stopped out from friending too many people or anything like that?
no, because it does it so that it's programmed to miss the red flags. So every 3 minutes it does it. Every 3 minutes it does it. Every 3 minutes it does it. And
Wow.
no, you don't get flagged at all. And you can even set it up with a message saying, "Hey, I'm building up my network. I know that this is a random message, but hey, if you want to check out what I do, everything's on my profile. And look, I'd love to chat to you." So if you keep it not appointment setter style
Mm,
stuff, then it actually works quite well. I've written a long script, and in the beginning I thought, shit, I hope like people don't think I'm some kind of spammer. But
yeah.
if you write it nicely, like a human being to a human being,
Yeah.
and you say, look, I understand what it's like to get a cold DM. If you want to first check out, who I am, what I do, everything's on my personal profile. Here's my
Yeah.
links. If it's not for you, hey, that's great too. Have an amazing day. I've had one person that wasn't happy with me. That's
Wow.
one person out of hundreds and hundreds and hundreds,
Yep.
So they
And you,
probably got a bunch of cold DMs that day. So but that's all, it's using AI technology. And then I've got another one that posts on your personal profile, and you can include the first comment. That can do images and content. And so you could do a whole month's content in 10 minutes.
yeah, see, that's amazing. Like, that's phenomenal. And even just having that workflow that you said before about it going out and friending people and then also sending them that message straight away so that you don't have to go back and do them yourself. Or, as you said, um, having your post scheduled and the first comment, which could have any links in it and stuff like that, and having that done so you don't have to go back and do that yourself. Like, just the workflow of not having to go back to things is phenomenal for time saving. Like, it's
Well, it's
amazing.
cool. You're on your phone, the next thing you see a post, you go, amazing. Like you're just sitting there watching TV, the next thing it posts. So it'll post on the time that you tell it to post, on the date that you told it to post. And it can also do color block posts.
Yeah.
So most of these programs can't do that. Like your social media scheduling stuff, they can't do block posts.
No.
But this one can.
See, this is
So
amazing. I like, how can be, this has been phenomenal. How can people find you? Because I know people are going to be like, I need to know more about this. I need to know more about this. So where can people find you to connect?
So my website is 369collective.co.nz, or otherwise just on my homepage, all my business links are there. So it's Venessa Minkley, Venessa. Last name Minkley. Both are very unusual. So by all means, get hold of Simone if you don't know how to get hold of me. But I'm not hard to find. If you just search 369 Collective, there's not a lot of me. I'm pretty easy to find. I've got some business pages, some groups, and I've got a load of resources, free resources that don't cost money, to help you with sales pages, to help you with searching visual topics, um, email sequences, a bunch of things. So I've actually broken a few bits out of the main document that I actually sell. But look, I paid $1,000 for it. I'm only selling it for 27 New Zealand dollars.
Yeah.
So it's well worth it. You'd never be able to even, it's over 1,000 prompts. That's a lot for 27 New Zealand dollars. And
That's
and
huge.
honestly, I estimate that would save you between 4 and 6 months of work.
That's huge. 4 and 6 months of work. See, that's amazing. Thank you so much. I love that. And I will be linking, obviously, all of your details in the show notes and then also on the YouTube channel. So people will be able to find you. They'll be able to click on things because this has been phenomenal. And as you said, even just talking to someone like yourself and just your product is going to save 4 to 6 months. Like imagine if someone actually had a conversation with you for 2 hours, like that'd save years. So I
I literally, I mean, some of the courses that I do, I call it a shortcut, right? I'm actually shortcutting them 18 months of slog,
Mm,
just by teaching them the right things. Because when you see everything that comes at you on social media, on the internet, you think that you need everything, right? But you don't. You
yeah,
just need a few things
yeah,
um, done well.
yeah,
And as soon as someone tells you, you go, oh. So a lot of the conversation that I have is I never knew that, I never knew that, I never knew that. So,
yeah,
oh, I didn't know to ask that. Why didn't they tell me? How come my web developer didn't tell me? I'm like, I don't know. They just,
that's
because most businesses, I'm generalizing, but a lot of businesses work on churn,
yeah,
particularly the bigger businesses. They actually don't care that your website's shitty. They just care that you give them $3,000. You see, I care, so it's different. I have a vested interest in people actually succeeding, but in a sustainable way. I
yeah.
don't want to give you a whole lot of things that I know that in a month you're going to go, oh, I can't keep up with this, Vanessa. It's got to be sustainable.
Mm.
And most of the stuff that I do will give you back for between 10 and 15 hours a week.
Jeez Louise, that's huge. That's such a big amount of time, especially as if you're a small or entrepreneurial business, like or a solopreneur brand, like that
Well,
is.
imagine that's more time with your family, more time with your friends, more time with your kids, more time to do the things you love to do,
Yeah.
and being equally productive.
But it's also more time to work on the business instead of in it.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And that's how you're going to grow. If you're working on the business 40 hours a week, I mean, if you're working in the business 40 hours a week, when are you working on it? So having that extra 10 to 15 hours, even if you're still using that as work time, that's 3 hours a day of working on the business. Like that's huge. So,
That could be a sleeping in the morning. It could be whatever, whatever makes you happy.
yep. Well, 10
Um,
to 15 hours is 2 days off. So that's just put you down to a 3 day work week right there.
Absolutely. And honestly, just a little bit of smart automation can do that for you.
It's amazing. Like it's phenomenal. Thank you
Mm.
so much for being here
That's all
today.
right.
I know everybody's got so much value out of this, and I really appreciate you being here again, as mentioned, for the second time, just to give everyone all of your wisdom and the stuff that you know that can save us time. Like anybody who hasn't listened to this and written notes and been like, oh, I need to look into this, I need to look into this, because there's so much value in what you're saying. So thank you so much for being here. We've loved it so, so, so much.
You can actually take this transcript from this and put it in Chat GPT and it'll write you an ebook.
Ah, amazing. I wouldn't do that too because it's your information, but
Yeah, those are the kinds of possibilities. So if I was giving a webinar, I could actually put it into a whole bunch of little ebooks for people as guides.
yeah, that's
And
amazing.
you could sell those, as a digital asset.
Yeah. Yeah, it's amazing. The applications feel like they're quite unlimited.
Yeah, I guess the big key thing is you've got to say, with this one small piece of information, how many things can I do with it?
Mm,
Can I do a blog? Can I do an email? Can I do a social media post? What can I do with it? What can I do with it?
yeah.
Because ChatGPT will help you turn that into all different things.
It's amazing. Like it's just so amazing. So yeah, thank you so, so, so much. Really, really, really appreciated having you
It's
here
my
because
pleasure.
blown my mind.
That's all right. I've tried to keep it not super technical, so there's some of the terms that are just So
Yeah, no, it's been amazing. I think everybody listening today is like, you've expanded us all a lot in an exciting way.
it's not, honestly, it's not scary. Just get in there and have a play around.
Yeah,
You know, just think of it as a new gadget that you've just bought and you're just setting it up. It's kind of like that. It's no different.
I love that. I just love that so much. So thank you so much for being here.
It's my pleasure.
All right, we'll see you next time.
Thanks, Simone. Take care. Bye bye.